is a little different when I pick up the guitar than this guitar here. So I do modify the tuning, but the guitar itself is basically a standard guitar.
Perfect. So, I mean, just in terms of, we met earlier and I gave you the Accenture context in terms of the leadership change and the journey we are in. So, our people in the delivery centers are faced with having to be leaders in ways they've never experienced before. Can you talk about how you motivated yourself to have the courage to take the first steps in terms of first learning and then performing left-handed in such a unique way?
Yeah, and there's an important distinction between when we're in a learning mode and when we're in a performance mode. As a musician, we need to spend a lot of time in the learning mode, in the practice mode, in the rehearsal mode, and I certainly had a lot of that. A lot of things went into giving me the motivation. Number one, I really love what I do. I love my job. I love the people I work with. I love the people that I get to play for, and that's a big motivator for me. In the initial process, as I was losing my music, I thought to myself, how can I give up just because something has changed essentially in my work area? Just because something has changed in how I have to do my work, how can I give up all these great experiences, these great people, this love that I have for music? And so that was what pushed me, reconnecting with why I'm where I am, which is being a musician, is my initial love for my work. And I think we all love what we do some days. Other days it's tough, I know. And it was a very tough time for me as I started to lose my skill. Because as you can imagine, musicians take a lot of pride in being able to create a beautiful sound and sharing that with an audience. And to lose that is a humiliating, self-esteem destroying experience, to lose that. And really, I think as what I needed to do in that moment to give myself some kind of push forward, as I was losing all my skill, and I spent 3 years of my life not understanding what my condition was, because none of the doctors that I went to knew about this condition. So I spent 3 years of doctors telling me that I was going crazy. And I started to believe them. And I spent 3 years trying to fix something that was broken, something that I could never actually make work for me again, because, again, the paradigm had shifted in my life. I would never get my hand to work again. So I needed to stop thinking about what was broken and start thinking about what still worked in my life. In other words, I had to stop thinking about what worked yesterday, and I had to start thinking about what might work tomorrow. And that led me to this place where I needed to spend some time thinking about also now what I was not very good at, which was playing guitar left-handed. I never tried to play guitar left-handed before. And the first time I picked up a guitar left-handed and tried to play, I put it down immediately. It's that same feeling like when you pick up a pen. It's very easy to sign your name, right? But switch the pen and sign it quickly and look at it and compare the signatures. They're very different. So trying to get my signature sound back was a big goal for me. And what you heard me play just now, I know most of you have never heard me play before, but my longtime fans would say that that is the sound that this guy had. So I'm trying to get my signature back.
So it's all about making sure you look forward instead of looking back, and understanding what needs to happen in the future.
Yeah, in two ways. And I really think that there's two ways of looking at it. You need to be able to assess what you're good at, because those are survival skills. Those are things that you're going to need to stay in the game, to stay active, to stay in your position, and to achieve your daily objectives. But you also need to think about, what I needed to think about was what new skills I needed to build. And when we talk about building new skills on an instrument, we're talking about a lot of hours of practice. And we could do some mathematics anytime. You know, if you think of 6 hours a day is an average for how much I practice my guitar, I did that for 25 years. It's about 55,000 hours of guitar playing.
Wow.
Playing this way. And guess what I had to do? I had to let go of it all. It was a tough thing to let go of 55,000 hours of my work. And I had to start over. And it took me 4 years of 6 hours a day, 365 days a year, to be able to build back up to my first performance as a left-handed guitar player.
And so, on that theme, I mean, how do you discipline yourself to take each stage of this journey, and how do you basically know when you are ready to move to the next stage?
You know, I think the first part of that discipline has a lot to do, again, for me, I look at my audience maybe the way a lot of people look at their clients or whatever. I think of how much I want to give them what they need in that moment. And for me, I'll tell you what, audiences are immediately connected to who you are and what you're doing, and they can be very unforgiving if you're not having a good night. But they can also be a source. When I start to play my music, I can feel something coming from the audience, and I want to build on that, and I want to give that audience everything I have. And part of the motivation, again, for me was that I've never felt anything in my life quite like when I'm really successful at what I'm doing. It's really, it makes me, when I connect with an audience and when I can play my guitar at a level that I know I'm giving them something that they need in that moment, I feel like I've hit my, you know, I've hit the summit. I'm really doing what I should be doing. But I'll tell you, not being good at it, losing the ability to give my audience that, was a real test of my courage. You're asking about courage, and the truth is, a lot of days I didn't have the courage. It's a tough thing to admit, but a lot of days I put my guitar down, and as I began this journey to become a left-handed guitar player, there were many days where I thought it was impossible. Obviously now you can see that the music can come out as a left-handed guitar player, but in the process, I gave up many times.
And what motivated you to come back?
You know, it's about the music, it's about the audience, it's about knowing what your meaning and your purpose is, and it's the little things along the way and the people that, if you allow yourself to be helped by people, to be mentored, to be encouraged by other people.
Feel up to giving us one last performance. Is that a yes? Right?
Yeah, great.
So we can
Great.
wrap up with
Yeah,
that. And,
absolutely.
I've got one request after this performance, so let me come back on stage.
All right. Okay, Scott. Great. Okay, so I'll talk in this one. I have a new piece that I've only performed a few times. And before I go any farther, thank you for being my first audience of my life here in India. I mean, you're it. You're the first group. Thank you. But I have a new piece, and to begin to write music again, for me was a very important thing, because I've always used the guitar in my compositions, and to start to write again has been wonderful. But I'm going to share with you that I'm stuck on this new piece. I have a problem with this new piece. Maybe you can help me with this. okay? The problem with this new piece is I don't know what to call it. I don't have a title to this next piece. So now, maybe you're not a musician, but maybe you love music, and maybe you've always wanted secretly to give a title to a piece of music. This might be your opportunity now, because I'm going to ask you, if you get any ideas about what I should call this piece, maybe you'd take a moment and write it on a little piece of paper and put your name on it. And I'm going to be recording this piece when I get back to the States here in a few weeks. It's going to be on the new CD, and maybe your name and your title will also be traveling and being on the new CD. So I'll just... Here's my untitled finale.